7'4", female, 30 years old. Standard check-in initiated.
I woke up this morning confused and a little shocked. I don't remember all the details, but I dreamed I was outside and it was hard to see. I remember the side of the mountain, it started to crumble and I was somehow pushed in. And then I was in a hospital room, unable to move with creepy smiling faces surrounding me. I woke up after that. I've been having dreams like that every night. Not always the same, but always scary. Well, today I'm going to the park for a walk and then back here for some food and relax time. I want to try and get that negativity out of me. Nature will do me some good. I got dressed and headed out. I always go to the same park right by my house. It's always full of nice people. When I get there, I look at the map to see which route I want to take. So this time I chose the shorter one. It's about 2.5 miles, the sign said. From the start of that trail, I had an anxious feeling. I was trying my best to ignore it. I looked around for people to chat with, but I didn't see anyone. I kept walking and I had a sense I was being watched. I still haven't seen a soul since I left my house. And now I'm hearing low buzzing sounds. And it dissipates and comes back as I walk by. About halfway, I stop and I'm a little freaked out by then. I look up into the trees and I saw something shiny. It was a camera and it was pointed straight at me. I didn't want to go any further, so I just turned around and went back the way I came. On the way, I noticed the buzzing sounds. It was the cameras moving to watch me. I picked up my pace to a jog and I got out of there. I got home. I locked the door behind me. Thought maybe, it could have been just the security. But why only watch me? The thought gave me chills. I had a pretty good day after that. I watched some TV and tried out a really good chicken recipe. Turned out really amazing. I took a nap and I surprisingly didn't dream. Or I don't remember. Either way, I'm good with it. I ordered food and read some of my book series. Once it got dark, I started getting ready for bed, dreading the dreams I'm going to wake up to. I slid under the sheets and got comfy, telling myself to think about what makes me happy, hoping that I'll dream better dreams. My eyes close and I'm out. Next thing I remember is a bang on my door and it busting open with 4 really strong men with ski masks. They ran in and jumped me. I screamed and tossed and turned and fought my heart out. I had bruises on my arms and a bloody eye from an elbow. They tied me up and gagged me. They used zip ties and then blindfolded me. They put me in their car and they never once said anything to me. They would refer to me as 074, saying 074 needs to be fixed or replaced as soon as possible. I have no idea what they mean. I managed to adjust my blindfold to where I could see a little out from the bottom. We stopped and they pulled me out. I saw one of the guys had a button and he pressed it. The mountain that was in front of us, the walls started to move and it made a doorway. Seeing that gave me flashbacks to my dream where the mountain crumbled. We went in and it was a big shock. Everything inside was perfectly clean and uniform. The walls were bare but had like a spaceship feel to it. They walked me in, and in this room there were medical supplies and a wheelchair with straps. They strapped me to it and wheeled me down the hallway. It was hard to see what was in the other rooms. We passed them a little too fast. There was at least 10 of them. At the end of the hall, they opened a door and rolled me in. There was a table they laid me down on. I was limp the whole time. I did not make it easy. But I also didn't want to get hit again. My arms were strapped down and then my ankles. They pulled the blindfold off and I was in an arena type room. People behind glass stared at me. I could hear someone talking, but it was muffled. 3 men in suits came in where I was and started poking me and prodding me. Almost as if they were checking my response and reflex time. They asked me about my dreams, if I had seen this place before. All I could do was shake my head in fear. I looked around and saw what looked like to be tanks, standing upright. Some had small, baby-like creatures floating in them. Some had full-grown, naked women in them. I couldn't get a good look at their faces, because they were in fetal position, with wires coming out of their bellies. The man noticed I was breathing really hard and he put his hand on my head. He said, "You'll be good as new in no time." It was not comforting at all. Next, they started undoing my straps and guided me back into the wheelchair. They pushed me into this room. It connected to the same room that we were in. It was a lot dirtier. The further I was pushed in, I noticed there were dead bodies lying on the table all around. Some with their chests split open. I could see her heart. I wanted to throw up. Some had their legs and arms cut off, laying on top of them. All of them had their heads covered with white sheets, with bloodstains all over them. The smell was awful. It was like a skunk had died and you left it out in the sun to rot. They put me under this really big machine. It looked like a machine you would see at the dentist office that you'd get an x-ray with. They pulled it down over my head. I heard one of them say, "Starting memory, scan now." I felt a jolt. I clenched my teeth, and then it was over. I thought they were gonna electrocute me or something. They raised the headpiece and left me there alone with those dead bodies. I tried to wiggle and I felt something snap. It was one of the straps. It came loose, so I undid my other hand and then I did my legs. I was free, but I didn't know when they would be back, so I ducked down to think. Curiosity kind of got the better of me, and I lifted one of the sheets to see who these people are that they're killing. At first glance, I could only see the profile of her face, and I start looking closer. Is that me? I was paralyzed with fear. I didn't know what to think. Who are these people? I started to compose myself. I carefully checked the rooms down the hall. I sneaked into the arena type room and ducked down, running through. I didn't see anyone. I went and looked into the first door that was open. It had TV screens on the left and on the right. 4 screens on a desk on both sides. It was a small square room. I found papers on the desk on the left, and it said 074. It was a schedule of what looked like my day. When I looked up at the screen, it looked like the park, the one I go to all the time. Are these the people that's been watching me? I look over at the other set of screens, and it's my house. That's my bedroom, and my living room, my kitchen. My skin crawls. These people have been watching me a lot longer than I thought. I leave that room and peek out to make sure no one was walking in the hallway. I saw a cracked door with the light off. I scurry in as quickly as I could. There were filing cabinets and a wooden desk. Looked like somebody's office. I start looking through papers after papers until I read 074, 5 days old. Female clone. Defective. Repair or terminate. Did that say clone? Am I a clone? I rushed out of there and tried to make it out to the outside of... I didn't know where. I ran down the hallway and then I jumped. An alarm goes off. Attention, 074 has escaped. All hands on deck. I panic. I was so scared. I searched for a place to hide. I ended up finding the first room that we were in, but it took me a minute to recognize it because I had the blindfold on when they brought me in this room. I searched for a button or a lever or anything to let me out, but I couldn't find anything. I heard footsteps and voices getting closer. I did my best to hide, but they saw me. They grabbed me, carried me into a new room, and it was even scarier than the dead bodies. One had a table. They laid me down on it, and they stripped my clothes off. What are you going to do with me? They put a cloth gag in my mouth. Then a scientist-looking guy walks up and looks down at me. Pity you were too curious, he said.
Prepare 075.
They rolled a body that looked like it was breathing, but also looked exactly like me, into that room that was like the arena room. The scientist guy backed off and was looking at me very strange. He pressed a button. Then spikes under the table stabbed me. 2 in the hands, each hand. 1 in each ankle. 1 in my heart. And 1 in my head. All the blood ran through these tubes. And it went to the tanks to feed the newborn clones.
Test subject 075, female, 30 years old. Standard check-in initiated.
I woke up this morning refreshed and actually ready for my day. I made a really good chicken recipe I found. Then headed out to the park I always go to.